India continues to achieve new milestones in fight against COVID. New peak of 8.97 lakh tests done in the last 24 hours as mortality rate remains low at 1.92%. 30 states and union territories perform better on maintaining positivity rate at 8.81% compared with weekly national average rate of 8.84%. Worldwide tally of those infected by COVID-19 goes beyond 2 crore 20 lakhs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews preparations for the National Master Plan for providing multimodal connectivity to various economic zones. Master Plan to boost productivity, infrastructure, economic progress and opportunities for youngsters. Ministry of Human Resource Development to be known as Ministry of Education from now on. President approves name change. Decision among the important changes in the draft new education policy after cabinet approval last month. Flood situation remains grim in Bihar. Over 81,56,000 people across 16 districts in the grip of floods. Several rivers including Ganga are flowing above the danger mark in many places. While in Uttar Pradesh, 788 villages in 15 districts are flood affected. On to sports, Inter Milan thrashed Shakhtar Donetsk to reach the Europa League final. Romelu Lukaku scores in his 10th consecutive Europa game as his brace helps the Italian club blank Donetsk 5-0, set up a final against Spanish club Sevilla. And Simona Halep withdraws from the US Open over COVID-19 concerns. 6 of the top 8 women in the WTA rankings won't play in New York as world number 1 Ashley Barty and defending champion Bianca Andreescu have also withdrawn from the final Grand Slam of the year. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Focused implementation of center-led strategies has ensured prompt identification, timely isolation and effective clinical treatment, leading to reduced case fatality rate. According to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, 30 states and union territories perform better than the national average. Aggressive testing has led to early identification and isolation of COVID-19 positive cases. This, coupled with efficient clinical treatment, brings the fatality rate down. A new peak of 8.97 lakh COVID-19 tests done in the last 24 hours. Even with such a high level of testing, the positivity has now remained low at 8.81% compared to the weekly national average, that is 8.84%. Well, talking about states that have been severely affected, Maharashtra remains the worst affected state from the deadly coronavirus pandemic in the country. 8,493 COVID cases have been reported from Maharashtra in the past 24 hours. Besides, 11,391 patients were discharged on Monday. A total of 4,28,514 patients have been cured till date. The patient recovery rate in the state of Maharashtra is now 70.9%. According to the State Health Ministry, currently there are a total of 1,55,268 active patients in the state of Maharashtra. Well, moving down to south in Karnataka, where 6,317 persons tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday. As per the daily official bulletin, 115 deaths were reported in the past 24 hours, while 7,071 patients were discharged from hospitals on Monday. The active cases in Karnataka currently stand at 80,643. Well, moving further south to Tamil Nadu, where 5,890 persons tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday. 120 deaths were reported, while 5,667 patients were discharged in the past 24 hours. The National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration on Monday met leading domestic vaccine manufacturers. These include Serum Institute of India, Pune, Bharat Biotech, Hyderabad, Zydus Cadila, Ahmedabad, Genova Biopharmaceuticals, Pune and Biological E, Hyderabad. The meeting was mutually beneficial and productive. It provided the national expert group with inputs about the present stage of various candidate vaccines being developed by the indigenous manufacturers as well as their expectations from the union government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday chaired a meeting to review the preparations for the National Master Plan for providing multimodal connectivity to various economic zones. In a tweet, the Prime Minister described it as an important endeavor that will boost productivity, infrastructure, economic progress and opportunities for youngsters. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Railway and Commerce Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri were among those who attended the meeting. President Ramnath Kovind on Monday gave the assent to the change in name of the Ministry of Human Resource Development as the Ministry of Education. The name change was among the key recommendations of the draft New Education Policy 2020, which was also cleared by the Union Cabinet last month. National Education Policy 2020 has proposed a lot of progressive and uplifting changes in the education system. It marks a monumental development in the country's human resource transformation that aims to disrupt the existing Indian education system with ambitious and generational reforms to meet the 21st century skills agenda. Shifting focus to the floods in Bihar, the flood situation in Bihar remains critical even as the catchment areas of various rivers receive scanty rainfall on Monday. According to the Disaster Management Department, over 81,56,000 people across 1,311 panchayats of 16 districts are reeling under intense floods. 10 relief camps are being run in flood-affected areas, of which 9 are in Samastipur and 1 in Khagadia. Community kitchens continue to run on a large scale. River Ganga has crossed the danger mark in Patna, where it is flowing 2 centimeters above the danger mark. The river Buri Gandak in Samastipur, Rozara and Khagaria are also flowing above the danger mark. Rest of the rivers, including Mahananda and its tributaries, have gone below the danger mark and have adopted the receding trend. Met Department has predicted light to moderate rainfall in Bihar for the next 2 days. Border Roads Organization has constructed an 180 feet Bailey Bridge in Jolijibi sector of Pithoragarh district in Uttarakhand in less than 3 weeks, despite frequent landslides and heavy rains. The 50-meter span concrete bridge was completely washed out in July when cloudburst hit the area. Due to landslides, road communication was broken. The BRO mobilized its bridging resources to construct the bridge. The connectivity will bring relief to about 15,000 people in 20 villages. The constructed bridge has resumed road communication of 66-kilometer road starting from Jolibi to Munchiari. The bridge will provide essential support in rehabilitating the villages. Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has asked officials to ensure that adequate medical facilities are made available at all health centers, with special focus on primary and community centers across the Union Territory. He reviewed the functioning of Health and Medical Education Department in Srinagar on Monday. Sinha has directed that all district hospitals should have dialysis facilities and called for the recruitment of specialists in these hospitals, including cardiologists and radiologists. He said that maternity benefits should be made available under the Pradhan Mantri Matritva Vandana Yojana to every beneficiary without delay. The LG also called for steps to provide additional incentives to the doctors serving in rural areas. Referring to the rise in COVID-19 cases in Kashmir division, Sinha asked officials for aggressive contact tracing of the patients to contain the virus, particularly in Srinagar. Well, there has been a great improvement in railways surveillance system. Railways Minister Piyush Goyal said that the railways has recently procured Ninja unmanned aerial vehicles that will monitor the drone railway assets with real-time tracking. video streaming and automatic safe mode and ensure additional security for passengers. In a tweet, he said that, and I quote, improving surveillance system, Railways has recently procured Ninja unmanned aerial vehicles with real-time tracking, video streaming and automatic fail-safe mode. The drones will enhance monitoring of the railway assets and ensure additional safety for passengers. A delegation of BJP leaders led by Karnataka State BJP President Nalin Kumar Katil met the State Home Minister Prasar Bharati. They discussed the riots that hit 3 police station limits in Bangalore on Tuesday. The delegation urged the State Home Minister to take strict action against the rioters. Nalin Kumar also visited the house of MLA Srinivas Murthy, who was targeted over a post by his nephew Naveen. The mob burnt his house down. Home Minister Prasar Bharati assured of action. A BJP delegation also visited the disturbed areas on a fact-finding exercise. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister was briefed by the top police officials and Home Minister on the progress in investigation over the riots that took place last Tuesday. Gujarat cadre IPS officer Rakesh Asthana has been appointed the Chief of the Border Security Force and VSK Kaumudi the Special Secretary in the Home Ministry. At present, Asthana is working as Director General of Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. The BSF is working without a regular chief since March after incumbent BK Johri was repatriated to Madhya Pradesh. He later took over as the Director General of the State Police. SS Deswal, the Chief of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, has been holding the additional charge as DG BSF since March 11th. Asthana's tenure as the BSF DG would be up to July 31st, 2021, the date of his supination. Well, Jammu and Kashmir is in the path of development. The residents in the region are benefiting from the government schemes and their economic conditions are improving significantly. Let's take a look at how the farmers from this village in Kupwara district of Kashmir are supporting themselves with organic farming.
These farmers are busy in organic farming in Hatmola village in Kupwara district. What is unique is that they themselves prepare vermicompost used in agriculture. Farmers themselves prepare all other items including compost in this part of organic village.
सबसे पहले ये एक बात है कि ये जो ऑर्गेनिक चीज जो है ना जो हम भी खाते हैं और वो खिलाते हैं सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि बीमारियों से हम दूर रहें तो अल्लाह ताला ने हमें नजात दिया उन बीमारियों जो केमिकल हम आज तक इस्तेमाल करते आए हैं तो ये सबसे बड़ी अचीवमेंट है इस चीज़ की तो दूसरी बात यह है कि इससे बेरोजगारी भी बहुत हद तक यहाँ खत्म हो रही है.
The village got the status of an organic village due to the efforts by the government. These farmers say that their economic conditions have improved significantly due to the development of organic village here. Besides getting better prices, the quality of fruits and vegetables too has improved.
इंशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह मुझे बहुत फायदा है मुझे दोगुना से अलावा हो गया हाँ मैं इसमें करता नहीं है केमिकल खाद नहीं लगाता इसमें मैं ऑर्गेनिक लगाता है
तो ये हेल्थ के लिए भी अच्छा है
ये हेल्थ की भी अच्छा है और हमको ये भी पता चला डिपार्टमेंट की वजह से ये सब्जी कैसे कौन सी किस्म क्या करना है किस वक्त वो क्यों कौन सी सब्जी उगाना है वो उसी तरह हम उगाते हैं ये हमारे पास सारी सब्जी
क्वालिटी भी अच्छी है
क्वालिटी भी अच्छी है.
The administration plans to connect these farmers' produce with e-mandis. Moreover, there are also plans to develop 7 more villages as organic villages in the next phase. All these initiatives are being taken with an aim to develop the capacity of the land and to increase the income of the farmers.
There will be some introduction of new things. जैसे cauliflower उगता ही है, cabbage उगता ही है, चलो traditional नहीं उगता है तो हाँ hybrid seed दे देंगे. तो इस साल हमने यहाँ इंट्रोडक्शन फर्स्ट टाइम की एक्जॉटिक वेजिटेबल्स. मैं आपको फार्म पर इसका डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन दे दूँगा. उसमें लेट्यूस हमने किया, इसमें हमने ब्रोकली किया, उसमें पार्सली किया, ब्रसेल्स स्प्राउट किया. यहाँ से ऊपर वाला थोड़ा सा बेल्ट दे देते तो वहाँ एक्सटेंसिवली ग्रो किया. रिजल्ट्स अच्छे रहे.
Given the importance of horticulture in improvement of economic condition in the district, the administration is taking several steps for its development. About 76,000 farmers linked with 30,000 horticulture land have been registered under PM Kisan Yojana. Apart from this, 28,000 farmers have received various other benefits under Kisan Credit Card Scheme. With Bureau Inputs, Ramatyagi's report for DD India.
You can see these are the organic produce in my hands, this apple and these cucumbers, and you can see the quality, you can see the variety here, and the farmers basically, they are very happy because they are saying that not only they are producing good quality, but they are getting good money also. With camera person Saurabh, Ramatyagi, DD News, Kupwara.
Well, now on to some international stories. First up, taking a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world. Over 2 crore 20 lakh coronavirus cases have been registered globally, with more than 7,77,000 deaths being reported related to COVID-19. As many as 1 crore 47 lakh people have recovered from the virus so far. COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the United States, making it the worst hit by the pandemic for several weeks now. The U.S. has over 56 lakhs 12,000 cases of the virus, with the death toll now past 1,73,000. United States is followed by Brazil, which has recorded more than 1,08,000 deaths and over 33,63,000 coronavirus cases. Talking in terms of COVID-19 death toll worldwide, the United States and Brazil are followed by Mexico, with a death toll nearing 56,700. In the United States, new COVID-19 cases declined for the 4th week in a row. The United States has registered more than 56 lakh confirmed cases with over 1,73,000 deaths. However, cases are falling in most states except for Hawaii, South Dakota and Illinois, while Arizona, Florida and Mississippi remain the worst affected states across the United States. Meanwhile, in New York, gyms are likely to open on August 24 with 33% capacity with strict health measures. For this, localities must inspect every gym before it opens to ensure compliance with health guidelines. Last week, the governor instructed that museums and cultural institutions in New York City could begin reopening at the end of the month at limited capacity. The second worst COVID-19 hit country in the world, Brazil, has reported over 9,300 new cases of the novel coronavirus and over 684 deaths from the virus in the last 24 hours. The country now has a total of more than 33,63,000 cases of COVID-19 since the pandemic began, while the official death toll from COVID-19 has risen to 1,08,000, marking the world's worst coronavirus outbreak after the United States and the biggest in the South American continent. France is planning to make face masks compulsory in shared workplaces as the country struggles to stem a spike of coronavirus infections. The government is considering to propose mandatory face masks in all common indoor spaces such as offices, factories and conference rooms. After a sharp rise in COVID-19 cases in the two largest cities, Paris and Marseille, the government has declared them as high-risk zones where wearing of mask is mandatory outdoors. Meanwhile, Britain has imposed a 14-day quarantine for people arriving from France. The French Health Ministry has reported over 3,000 new cases of coronavirus for 2 days in a row. However, the total cases in France crossed 2,19,000 with over 30,000 deaths. Well, time now to take a look at some non-COVID updates internationally. India has sent a technical equipment and a team of specialists to Mauritius to help the local authorities deal with an environmental crisis after an oil spill from a Japanese ship. Following Mauritius' request for assistance, India dispatched over 30 tons of technical equipment and materials by aircraft to supplement the country's salvage operations. A 10-member team of Indian Coast Guard personnel trained in oil spill containment measures have also been deployed to Mauritius to provide technical and operational assistance. The carrier split on August 15th and the oil spill spread over a vast area of endangered corals, fish and other marine life in what some scientists call the country's worst ecological disaster. Scientists say the full impact of the spill is still unfolding, but the damage could affect Mauritius and its tourism-dependent economy for decades. Removing the ship is likely to take months. The US is placing further restrictions on Huawei technologies in a bid to limit the company's access to electronic components. The new rules prohibit non-US companies from selling any chips made using US technology to Huawei without a special license. The administration has also added that 38 Huawei affiliates in 21 countries to the US government's economic blacklist, raising the total to 152 affiliates. Earlier, the Trump administration had banned Huawei from 5G wireless networks in the United States, while US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the new sanctions were imposed to protect US national security and citizens' privacy. On to sports, Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez both scored twice as Inter Milan hammered Shakhtar Donetsk 5-0 to set up a Europa League final showdown with Spanish club Sevilla. Lautaro Martinez opened the scoring in Dusseldorf, heading home Barella's cross in the 19th minute. Danilo then extended Inter's lead at the hour mark. Martinez then added his second of the night with a fine finish before Romelu Lukaku double in the 70th and 83rd minute extended his scoring run in the Europa League to 10 matches as Antonio Conte's side ran away with the proceedings. Inter faced five-time Europa League winners Spanish club Sevilla, who beat Manchester United on Sunday evening in Friday's final in Cologne. On to the final Grand Slam of the year, the US Open. Wimbledon champion Simona Halep will skip the US Open, saying that she is putting her health first and prefers to stay in Europe during the coronavirus pandemic. Halep, a former top-ranked player who's currently world number 2, won the title in Prague on Sunday. With her withdrawal, 6 of the top 8 women in the WTA rankings won't play in New York. World number 1 Ash Barty and defending champion Bianca Andreescu have also withdrawn from the US Open. Other women who won't play include 5th seed Elena Svitolina, 7th seed Kiki Bertens and world number 8 Belinda Bencic. US Open is scheduled to start at Flushing Meadows from the 31st of August. Irina Khomacheva of Russia will replace Simona Halep in the main draw. Elsewhere on the men's side, Japanese star Kei Nishikori faces a race against time to be eligible to play after he tested positive for COVID-19. Moving to hockey, 6 hockey players Manpreet Singh, Surendra Kumar, Jaskaran Singh, Varun Kumar, Krishna P. Patak and Mandeep Singh, who had tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this month, were later shifted to hospital as a precautionary measure and for better monitoring were discharged from hospital earlier on Monday and are now under quarantine at the Sports Authority of India National Centre of Excellence in Bengaluru. They will be quarantined at the Sai Bengaluru Centre and will be given the antibody test after 10 days to check if they have built immunity against the virus. All 6 players are housed in the ground floor of the hostel where other members of the camp have no access. This is a precautionary measure to ensure there is no contact between the 6 players and the other campers over the next 10 days. The rest of the players of the Indian hockey team, men's and women's, will resume sporting activity from August 19th as scheduled. Well, Bombay High Court will hear a petition challenging BCCI's decision to hold the Indian Premier League season 13 in the United Arab Emirates. In the plea, it said if IPL is held outside India, it would cause huge economic and revenue loss to India, and IPL can be held in India if safety measures are taken. Well, we'll keep you updated on that particular story in the following bulletins. Stay tuned for more stories on that with the DD News. That's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.